All right, guys, welcome to video 5 in a 6-part series where I go over exactly how I got my testosterone levels over 1100 completely naturally, no TRT, no nothing like that. So in this video, I'm going to go over phase 2 of my blood work protocol. Part 3 is where I went into my phase 1 video, and that video was all about getting my foundational health to an optimal level through nutrition, lifestyle, training, and supplementation. All very basic, not touching anything revolving around testosterone. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Video 3 in the series, and it's called High T Protocol Revealed. I'll link it below. So in this video, I'm going to go over phase 2, which circles back around after phase 1, optimal levels of health through that phase 1 approach. So phase 2 was throwing gasoline on the hormonal fire, targeted T boosters, more high T lifestyle stuff, and just overall main goal is hormones driving testosterone as high as we can go. So I'm going to do screen shares of the actual update to the protocol, phase 2 protocol, and then I'm going to dive into the blood work that after phase 1 and phase 2, where I ended up, how my health changed, and how my testosterone ended up at 1104. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the screen shares. All right, going into phase 2 of the blood work protocol. This is all phase 1. You've seen all that. Coming into phase 2, we went over phase 1. Phase 2 is testosterone optimization, so targeted test boosters, high T lifestyle, and just continuing on the foundational health protocol. Lifestyle, so a lot of the stuff here is the same that I went over, but I added some things in here that I was doing. So high T lifestyle, again, go watch the previous video to check that out and learn a little bit more details around the high T lifestyle and what I was doing. But I wanted to highlight these, dating specifically, like getting around women that I found attractive and pursuing women from an evolutionary standpoint. That just gives the body so much signal that it needs testosterone to pursue and to beat out all other competition and get the girl, get the mate, right? So I had a breakup that was in September, and so I was really just, it was best for both of us. Energetically is draining. Getting out of that relationship just like freed up so much energy that I could pour into me, into my business, into my health, training, all different areas, because it was an energy leak. But now that energy was being directed elsewhere where I could actually use it. And then 100 days of higher self-meditation, commitment, and decision. This is something I started December of 2024. And so thinking end of February would have been coming close to those 100 days of being successful with that. So what this was is 20 minutes meditating, connecting to the higher version of myself. And then when I finished, I would do it in the morning. When I finished, I would live my day as that higher version. And from a health standpoint, that higher version had high testosterone. So I was rehearsing these high testosterone things, and then I would go about my day doing those actual things, showing up as the high T version of myself. And then contrast therapy, sauna, and then cold plunge out 3 rounds each, doing that around 2 times per week. Just threw that in there. So that's lifestyle. Nutrition, a lot of this was the same. Yeah, a lot of this stuff was the same, but I was doing fruit till noon. So this was a new thing I was trying. I think I might have started this around December, January, probably January. So it was fruit till noon. So it's fruit until 12 p.m. Smoothie, dried fruit, fruit bowls, just fruit, essentially. Dates, figs, all of that until 12 p.m. And then when you hit noon, you hit normal eating. So all this stuff, I would start there. But the key thing here is avoiding mixing high carb and high fat. Just metabolically, how you digest, those two don't necessarily go together very well if it's just those two. So high carb, high protein, better. High fat, high protein, better as well. So trying to avoid high carb and high fat meals just to metabolically be more flexible, increase the metabolic rate, create more energy, give my body the signal of abundance. Then starches, normal carbohydrates around training, pre and post, to utilize those effectively. Got to give a shout out to Noah Ryan again here. He made this popular shred maxing, and I was like, fuck it, I want to try it. And really, really worked with me. Got pretty shredded. Key obviously went really high and was just feeling like a beast. So this stuff, digestive aids, all of this is the same. I didn't change too much of that. It was just the structure in which I was eating it. And I was doing more fruit and then fruit till noon. So it's nutrition, training. So I had shoulder surgery in June. I think it was June of 2024, maybe July. I think July. So I wasn't training for maybe 2-3 months after that. And then now I was starting to get back into training. This is what I was doing. Full body 3 times per week. I wasn't playing soccer. I got back into the gym before I was playing soccer. So I was hitting legs a lot more than I previously would. I usually wouldn't hit legs because I would play soccer all the time. And my risk of injury when I was training legs was very high. So I just nixed it. So training more legs, doing compound movements, full body 3 times per week. Low intensity to start due to the surgery. Like I couldn't go very heavy. I could go somewhat heavy in legs. So just gradually ramping up that intensity. And then eventually getting to very high. Low to moderate volume, 4 to 5 exercises per session. This stayed pretty constant. I wasn't going very hard on the volume. I tend to train lower to moderate volume, and that just works for me. High frequency though, so I was doing the 3 times full body, and then sometimes I would throw in a 4th or a 5th, either doing like a rotational landmine day or just throwing in another just upper body chest focused push day. That just kind of mapped to my goals in terms of my physique goals. Always trying to build my chest up because I think it's on the lower end of my physique. So that's just personally to me. And then I was playing soccer 1 time per week on Sunday. Towards the end, this was probably closer till, let's see, June. Probably closer to January again. 6 months out, getting back into competition that I had not really been experiencing for that long period of time after surgery. So I think a lot of this is like post-surgery. That's where I was at the 681. Was able to really get back into my habits and ramp it up. And I think that's another thing that really got me to over 1100. Supplements. So I went over these. I was still taking these. This is the foundational protocol. And then phase 2, I was throwing this stuff on it. Alpha Test Booster, really amazing product. Pine pollen from Based. This pine pollen is probably one of my favorite supplements right now. I'm a hypo responder to supplements, so a lot of what I take, I don't really notice that much of a benefit. But this pine pollen, and then also the Shilajit, I was feeling like a G. I was feeling so good, so much energy, so much energy, very energetic, and just confident, alpha, just felt high testosterone. So these were great for me, and then continuing to take the P5P here as well. Yeah, so pretty targeted, like health handbrakes here, helped with those, and then I went hard on the testosterone boosting side. And that's pretty much it for in terms of phase 2 protocol. Not too many different things, not too many updates, but yeah, that's it. All right, and here is the second panel of blood work. I got this on February 27th, and I think I got the results back in March of 2025. So, gonna go through this. Glucose was good, creatinine high, likely because of just having more muscle on my frame, and then also supplementing some creatine. Nothing to be worried about here. EGFR slightly low, so maybe vitamin D dropped a little bit. Still getting a lot of sunlight. I was supplementing vitamin D every now and then, and the Alpha Test Booster had 5,000 IUs. So maybe it dropped slightly, bringing that EGFR down. Potassium slightly elevated, it's by 0.1. I'm not worried about that. Chloride 1 unit off. Total protein still considered low, but much higher than what it was previously. I think it was like 6.6 or something like that. Maybe it was, I think it was 6.6. So improving in this area. Albumin high, globulin fine. So with these 2 markers, like a ratio, I think looks good here. Yeah, a little bit on the higher end, but it still looks good. AST and ALT, these are slightly elevated, I think due to training. So I think I only did 24 hours prior to blood test. Usually it's 48 hours. I was just kind of seeing what would happen here. Slight elevations in the enzymes to be expected here. Didn't get lipids. I think I just forgot to add those. RBC, hemoglobin, and hematocrit are the only ones that are elevated here. 0.1, not worried about that. Hemoglobin slightly elevated, and then hematocrit. These tend to increase when you have higher levels of testosterone, so that made sense to me. I would also want to look at my iron panel and see what my ferritin is at. Those could be elevated, TBD, TBH, to be honest. But again, not worried about that. Mostly, I think, due to the high levels of testosterone that I had. This is all looking good. Monocytes and eosinophils still elevated. The last like 5 blood tests I've done, I've had high eosinophils. So I think it just might be how I run, but then also thinking about getting a stool test to just see what's going on, going under the, because this has been significant. Gut health is, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It could definitely be better, but it's not like I noticed too many symptoms of this. So again, not ideal, but I'm definitely absorbing the nutrients that I'm eating a lot better. So, and then yeah, testosterone 1104, 16 total T. These units are not the same. The free isn't the best, but it was 7.5 before, so I doubled that. 681 here before, so almost double that. And I think just based on how I was feeling, I'm not mad at this. This is a really, really good level for me because I was just feeling phenomenal. And I think those are the only markers that I have. So that's the blood work side of things in terms of how did phase 1 and phase 2 impact my blood work. And again, normally I would have a lot more markers, but this was just a random checkup that I wanted to see how things are working, and clearly worked pretty well.